Good day. After we know that how to downlink Advantech through various interfaces, in this module we will see how advanced functions dealing with those I/O data. For example, Event Manager can send out SMS when the event triggers. Calculation tech transforms generic data to the meaningful data. Moreover, ADA3600 also has some function relating to system configuration, like system tag to monitoring system situation, filter the right assets by the whitelist and back up the project. Thus, after learning this module, you can get familiar about data integration and system configuration. It can make you easier for monitoring and managing system data information of the ADA3600. In this Module 3, we will introduce lots of functions in EdgeLink. Let's start from creating user tag. User tag is creating a variable in the EdgeLink. It is useful in C and KW. User may also use it to debug. Here, we create a user tag with the name user_alarm, indicating the high alarm of pH value. If you select retain, the user tag can be retained when you repower the ADA3600. Calculation tag can do the further calculation with tags in ADA3600. Instead of raw data, it can make the tag more meaningful, that is bandwidth saving, before uploading to uplink device. Here, we create a calculation tag with the name test call. And here, we create the following expression. If pH value for the pH meter is lower than the high alarm, user alarm, and the water level is high, then test call will be true. Thus, we create tag A as board I/O water level, tag B as pH meter, tag D as user alarm. In this calculation tag, test call will be true if the condition D is bigger or equal to B and A is true. In this example, you can realize that ADA3600 is not only the RTU module, but it also has intelligent function to make it like iRTU module. Not only bigger, smaller, and can be used in calculation tag expression. ADA3600 also supports different kinds of operator. Please refer to the user manual to find detailed information of every function. ICD Manager is a communication monitoring unit which can diagnose both LAN port and serial port. For LAN port, ICD Manager will acquire the network status information output by the network card to test its current status. For serial port, ICD Manager will acquire the communication signals on physical layer of the serial port to obtain the related information, including its active status and the response time of the data package on serial port. This is ICD Manager monitoring page in ADA3600. For the transfer and receive is RS232, and health transfer and receive is RS485 and 422. If the connection of the serial is fine, the communication status will show excellent. Otherwise, the communication status will be poor. Attention that the serial port needs to configure the standard of score first. Here, the monitoring mode is set to full transmit and receive, which means full function monitoring mode. The minimum time span for receiving line to monitor the signal level variation. If the actual time span is less than it, the monitoring result will be excellent. The maximum time span for receiving line to monitor the signal level variation. If the actual time span is greater than it, the monitoring result will be poor. The minimum time span for transmitting line to monitor the signal level variation. If the actual time span is less than it, the monitoring result will be excellent. The maximum time for transmitting line to monitor the signal level variation. If the actual time span is greater than it, the monitoring result will be poor. Choose whether to display the information of this port. You can get more information of other mode in Online Help 3.3. ICD Manager can monitor abnormal conditions such as cable plug out or data traffic missing. For example, if the wire of data plus is broken with unknown reason, ICD Manager shows poor. You do not need to configure the standard for the score of NAT. In the normal condition, the communication status is excellent. If LAN port cable plug out, it will show poor. ADAN3600 also has the function to back up your project into SD card to prevent customer losing project. Also, this project will automatically load into ADAN3600 where SD card is inserted. It is also very helpful to load the same project to the multiple ADAN3600. If there is no laptop or PC in the field, there is one method to download the project. Please set the identity to Node ID. We set ID for 32 here. Backup project function is on the top of the workplace. Click it and export project to the SD card. Please note that the SD card format should be FAT32. User may use Windows OS to format it in advance. Restore project in SD card with the following steps. First, power off ADAN3600. Second, put SD card into ADAN3600 SD slot. And third, power on ADAN3600. And then ADAN3600 will reload the new project. Customers can use this to duplicate their project to every ADAN3600. It is very convenient to engineers. If you want to create a new project to the ADAN3600 in factory, they can write their own project in the office first and back up to the SD card. Then he can just import a project by this SD card without computer. It can save a lot of effort when engineers is going to on-site. User may want to check the configuration of the project which is set up by previous user, so we have the function project uploading. User may upload the project to the laptop to check each configuration by previous user. Key in the password for uploading project. After completing uploading, the uploaded project will be opened in HLink Studio. Here we take a break. Please try to add one user tag and calculation tag, which is calculated by at least 3 different tags. Hint: user may refer to page 3 to page 5 of this material. Following, we introduce how to enable the data logger for recording. For the convenience of recording acquisition tag historical data, iRTU status Studio provides data logger configuration function. After enabling data logger, users can select the acquisition tag, recording period, and maximum recording days according to the requirements. The historical data of each day is stored in a file, which is stored in a SD card. HLink Studio would calculate the needed memory in SD card of the historical data according to the recording period and amount of tags. Recording acquisition tag has the maximum limit 200 tags. HDink Studio will calculate the needed memory in SD card according to the recording period and amount of text. Storage path is the location of the data stored on the SD card by default. Use the UDisk backup. Select this item. When the UDisk is inserted, the stored historical data is automatically backed up to it. It only copies the stored data before inserting the UDisk. Pay attention to the total memory of SD card, which must be bigger to the calculated memory. The specific parameter setting is as follows. Recording acquisition tag, the maximum is 200 tags. Recording period, positive integer value. Recording maximum days, integer value between 0 to 99. The maximum number of days of historical data is 7 days by default. If the number of days saved is exceeded, the system will automatically delete the earliest stored data. User may enable data logger for resume broken transfer function. The data backup function is used to back up the data stored locally. That is, data in SD cards. User must insert SD card and configure data logger in ADEN 3600. And data could back up to the remote server. The server types temporarily support SQL Server and FTP Server. User can back up historical data to SQL Server. Fill in the information of SQL Server. First, server, choose FTP Server or SQL Server. Second, IP domain, the IP address of the database. Port, the port number of the database. Database name, the name of database for data storage needs to be established in advance, as shown in step 1. Index table. The custom table name is automatically generated in SQL Server. Username, username of the database. Password, the password of the database corresponding to the username. Table name prefix, prefix of the tag for custom storage. Batch upload, batch upload count. When set batch uploads, such as set 200, the query cache 200 pieces of data will be uploaded to server in batch. Double click to add the tags that users want to backup. Note, because the backup tag of user backup is stored by the data logger, user must select the configure tags in the data logger. User can also back up historical data to FTP server. Fill in the information of FTP server. Server, choose FTP server, the IP address of the database, the port number of the database, the username of FTP server, and the password of user. Upload interval. The time interval of uploading cached data, more than 10 minutes, is recommended. Select the text that users want to backup. User could view the data logger by clicking System Information and Data Logger. Data logger is saved in the CSV format. The historical data is stored in the format of SQLite. If users want to read the file, they can refer to one software cited here. Note, the data format stored in the SD card is ADB format, which is written by our Advantech R&D. If you want to export it into DB3 format, you need to export it to UDisk. Hands-on. Please view the data logger with SQLite DB format in your laptop. Hint 1. Plug in SD card and set up data logger. Note, also select the U-Disk Backup. Hint 2. After a moment, you can insert U-Disk to export the historical data file to SQLite DB format. ADEN 3600 can set access right for specific application. Whitelist can be established according to the network interface IP address. There are several types of service to set up firewall. Using whitelist may cause some service not work. For example, using multiple KW, it is better disable whitelist function first to test. This is whitelist mode, not blacklist mode. Only the specified ports can be opened. So we leave this hands-on to you. Set the allowed IP address to only one IP and change the IP address of your laptop to other IP address and see what will happen. We introduce 3G Wi-Fi network settings as below. For GPRS 3G settings, user selects device type of the module. Choose Auto for most operators. If it cannot work, we set up as the next page. While connecting the ADEN 3600 to the cellular service, we provide two different ways to monitor the wireless communication. Monitor by ping and monitor by data traffic. The first one is by ping, and the other one is by data traffic. If the ADEN 3600 could not ping a particular IP or could not detect any data traffic, and the situation continues until exceeds the defined time period, ADEN 3600 will try to reconnect the cellular service. The mechanism of checking may refer as your cell phone. Without cellular service, you may plug out and plug in the SIM card to recover the 3G service first. If not work, you may reboot the system. There is an option that customer could decide to reboot their system or not if the communication is still have the problem after the cellular service is rebooted. In the operator supported by the wireless terminal, if the user chooses automatic, the user does not need to input APN, connect username, password, or other information. If not select automatic, user need to enter the APN, connect username, password, number, and other information. When the project compiles, it generates a set of scripts for each operator based on the default settings. ADEN 3600 selects the appropriate script to connect the network based on the inserted SIM card type. User could check information in online monitor, for example, phone number, quality, public IP. There are also tags for mobile information from system mobile tags. User could also check network type, phone number, signal quality here. Here we introduce one basic debug mode method with SSH console. You can ping 8.8.8.8 for checking network status. User can also ping www.google.com for checking DNS. Key in the SSID and password to log in the AP, and AP will give the dynamic IP to the iRTU device. Install Wi-Fi module with PCIe mini slot, even though we have 2 slots, but our utility software only support one Wi-Fi module at one time. Install the feedback line and the antenna. Feedback line needs to connect with the top left slot on the Wi-Fi module. We introduce NAT settings as below. When using ADEN 3600 device as a gateway, the NAT function is enabled to allow internal devices to access external networks through ADN3600. User needs to add an NAT setting and choose the external interface. For example, ADN3600 LAN 1 can access external network. Its IP is 172.16.10.2. ADN3600 LAN 2 IP is 11.0.0.5, connects to user computer. If user wants PC to access external network, user should change the IP of the computer to the same network segment as LAN 2 and set the gateway of computer IP to the IP of LAN 2. And after user set the IP of the computer to 11.0.02 and the computer gateway's address to 11.0.05, then the computer can access to external network. We introduce Event Manager SMTP settings as below. Event management can allow users to set conditions for event. Double-click the Event Management node to open the Edit page. You can add, delete, modify, or copy an event. The time you have added will be displayed in the list. User can set whether this event is enabled when the device is running by clicking the selection box of the Enable column. User can set whether this event is enabled when the device is running by clicking the Enable column of the selection box. The event is triggered by two cases. User can monitor the tag value out of range or tag quality is not good. We demonstrate interval. Here, interval means that the same event is not triggered within the interval after an event has been triggered. Jitter delay means that the tag value exceeds the range of the quality is not good for the duration of time is less than the jitter delay. Then the event is not triggered. User may also need to set up SMTP setting. So the SMTP name is used only in EdgeLink Studio. SMTP server is IP or domain name. And sender is the sender's mailbox address that is displayed when the message is received. Username is the username need to connect to the SMTP server, and the password need to connect to the SMTP server. Confirm password, you need to type in the same password again. Encryption mode. You can choose either encrypted or SSL, TLS two encryption methods. When the option is encrypted, the default port is 25. When you select SSL encryption, the default port is 465. And then you select TLS encryption, the default port is 587. Set user's account in a less secure mode if using Gmail. Our hands-on for you is to try to use company mailbox to send alarm. Hint: if using Advantech email, please log in with the password sent as user login your personal computer. If user has email setting problems, please contact IT department. We introduce GPS setting as below. In the GPS setting, you can set the GPS module on RTU. Enable the GPS module acquisition function. RTU will collect real-time location information, speed, and angle through the GPS module. Module name. Choose the GPS module type that can be selected. The present latitude and altitude are used as the initial value before the GPS module works properly. Note that after GPS module is working normally, If the unexpected situation occurs, such as when the GPS module is pulled out and the GPS searcher star number is less than 3 stars, the longitude, latitude, and altitude value will be retained and as the less normal value obtained when the position information is not available. We introduce port forwarding settings as below. When a device is used as a gateway, the external network user may not directly access the device on the internal network. Users can set a mapping between the port of the external network port and the IP address of the internal network device by setting port forwarding on the router. That is, the gateway forwards the request of specific port of the external network port of the gateway to the device of a specific IP address of the intranet through the intranet port, and the intranet device can be accessed by the external network. As shown in the above configuration, the device will forward the TCP request of port 80 with the external device IP of 10.5.0.1 to port 80 of intranet device IP 192.168.10.5. The device will forward the port 8080 of external IP 10.5.0.1 to the port of intranet IP 192.168.10.6, and the device will forward the TCP request of port 25 with external device IP 10.5.0.1 to the intranet device IP 192.168.10.7. So this illustrating port forwarding. For the setting, user should map external network interface IP to internal IP. There are some choice of external interface such as cellular, Wi-Fi, LAN 1, LAN 2, and OpenVPN. Convert to IP tables, the script, and the attributes that user can configure as below. Enable. When you select enable, this configuration will be added to forward.sh script. Protocol, you can choose to support either TCP or UDP or both. Interface, external interface. Select to forward all access or only forward requests from specific network port. External IP address. Select to forward only requests for specific IP. Internal destination IP address. Select the IP address of the intranet device to be forwarded to. Internal destination port. Set the port number of the intranet device to be forwarded to. Okay, that is all for Module 3. Thank you for listening.